And by the way, cities, city mayors, city governors, when you listen to this story, if you don't all the time catch the podcast, or if you're catching it for whatever reason, listen, if you're a staffer for somebody, make sure that people are hearing this, because this is a big, important message. From 2017 to 2019, it appears that any state that had DoorDash at that time can sue DoorDash and get an instant payment. They won't even go to court with you. And I say this because every state that's challenged these dates in 2017 to 2019 for this exact thing, it was going on in every market they were in. So therefore, if you had enough DoorDashers, I mean, Illinois, I think, paid out more than the 17 million that New York's paying out. So every state, you're losing out on a lot of money and helping a lot of workers who got screwed over. But let's go through this one. This one just dropped. So this is an ABC News. Guys, I always, you know me, I get my news from multiple sources, but I try and pull in some mainstreams just to confirm a few facts. I would never quote the story, or I don't often. This time I am. And by the way, on the podcast that I do weekly, this one, I put the links to all of the articles that we discuss when it's articles, so that you guys can go and check them out for yourself. They were all in the show notes, audio podcast listeners and other platforms alike. So this is from ABC News today. It dropped February, it just dropped. So DoorDash to pay New York delivery driver workers $17 million for using their tips to cover wages. And now that's why I say, all of you states who have not yet sued DoorDash for these dates, if you're a staffer, if you're on any level, but you have access to the right people, go to those people and inform them of this, what I'm about to tell you. Find this story, find the one on Chicago, find the two in California, and email me, Steve at Rideshare Rodeo. I will happily introduce you to the network of state representatives and lawyers and other things that I'm in with, who are very familiar with what's going on here and why a lot of this is being passed. So, DoorDash, the lawsuit came in, and DoorDash will pay almost $17 million to settle claims and have it buried immediately, which is exactly what they did in Illinois. The food delivery app DoorDash will pay almost $17 million to settle claims that it unfairly used customer tips to subsidize the wages of its delivery workers in New York. Exactly what happened in Chicago or in Illinois, and it's exactly the dates. Exactly. So, hint, if this were a test, all you government workers or people who should know this in other states, these dates that I'm about to tell you are the only dates you need to run. Run an audit on DoorDash for these dates, and you will find they did the same thing in your market 100% for sure. Every state that had DoorDash, they were pulling this in during the dates. So, New York, rather than letting the drivers keep the tips on top of their guaranteed pay, the attorney general filed this because they were subsidizing the wages of the delivery workers from the tips. This is exactly what happened in Chicago. So, Attorney General James said DoorDash used the wage model between May 2017 and September 2019. So those are the dates you need, states. If you haven't sued DoorDash yet, just sue them. They'll pay you that day. They have not gone to court once to debate this at all. May 2017 to September 2019, if you sue them for using DoorDash drivers' tips to subsidize the wages they paid those drivers, you will get an out-of-court settlement for the full amount you ask. Now, obviously don't go asking for billions of dollars, but you will know how to gauge it based on these other places. Just gauge it on your population and gauge it against these. They don't even walk into the court. DoorDash just cuts a check and walks away. So the company would guarantee workers a base payment for each delivery. So your base payment's going to be this. You're going to at least get this. And you know how I feel. I am not a fan of non-transparency. I am really not a fan of DoorDash because they are the model. I mean, all the apps have their issues, but they are the model of just scamming on you. And I know that a lot of people in a lot of markets make a lot of money on DoorDash. So sometimes you got to deal with some crap to be able to make your money. But I'm just pointing it out because it is a fact every time we look into it. But so they were guaranteeing the workers a base payment for each delivery, but they were factoring tips into that equation and only paying workers for whatever the tips didn't cover. So if they guaranteed you $5, let's just say $5, but I'm just gonna keep it easy. They guaranteed you $5 and you got tipped $6. How much do you get total from May 2017 to September 2019? Under the circumstances I just said, if they showed you a base pay of $5, but could be higher, which is what they did then, we all know this, base pay of $5, and you got there, you did the delivery, and you ended up getting $6, or the customer tipped $6. How much did you, the driver, get? Did you get the 11? Because $5 base pay plus a $6 tip is $11. So that's 11. But between May of 2017 and September of 2019, you never got that. You got the tip that the customer gave you minus the base pay that they showed you. And that's it. That's it. If the tip was more than the base pay they showed you, you were only being paid the tip and nothing, zero, by DoorDash. That's why I say, states, get in line, please. Email me, steve@ridesharerodeo.com. I will help you in every way. I will send you vaults of information that will help you from other legal minds and from a lot of state representatives and people bringing these about. I will gladly help you pull the trigger on this in your state and get delivery drivers what they're due. The other problem with this being that it's now settled for that time, because now we're going to face 2020 to 2023. There's another batch of those coming around. So first, everybody all you states get your lawsuits in on this. And then next you'll be suing for 2020 to 2023. But I'll keep you apprised on that one too. So DoorDash also did not make it clear to the customers that their tips were being used to offset worker wages. So this is just fundamentally unfair. The Attorney General for New York said at a news conference in Manhattan, customers had no reason to believe that these tips were being used by DoorDash to reduce its costs of paying drivers. The company will pay $16.75 million in restitution that will be distributed to DoorDash workers who made deliveries between May 2017 and September 2019 in New York. Eligible workers will be contacted by a settlement administrator. So again, guys, if you've changed your number, if you don't dash anymore, if you dash, but you know somebody who dashed in New York during those years, a family member, a friend, and you're like, wait, that one dude dashed all the time, but I know he doesn't anymore. That's kind of what happens with a class action thing. And while this isn't a class action because it's being paid out, them trying to contact you, what if your information has changed? What if you've moved? What if you've changed your phone by chance? I mean, there's a very good chance. So any of you gig workers who might have known gig workers, even if you weren't doing it, please let those gig workers know that if they live in New York, if they lived in Chicago, all these, and we'll keep bringing them up as the states come.